Hey, Madauli. This is your host, Darcy Google. I'd like to welcome you out to Res Talk Wekoqmaq. And today is going to be short and sweet. Hey, I'm going to stick to one subject and one subject only, and it's about land claims and money. Sulio. Oh, a lot of money hungry people out there, and I understand. Yeah, fuck, man. Magstado mo down de Bemia Goy outside of Wekoqmaq, like fuel and inflation, gas prices, groceries, like all of that stuff. What I'm talking about, Magodiga, price of living, expensive, And there's not without reason. We feel pressure, we feel scared, But I have to encourage everybody out there to have to be brave, be wise. Don't let the emotion fuel your decision making process. Don't let emotion drive you. You need to be calm. You need to have courage. You need to have respect, because the land claims that are coming, this opportunity is golden. It's first of all, it's a modern day treaty. It's lifelong lasting. It's for the future generations. And yes, of course, we've been wronged in the past. 150 years ago, the Wekoqmaq people in the village took our land. They said that we weren't utilizing it for our own purposes, and they needed it, so they took it. And they said they gave us money for it, but where's the proof of the money? There's a lot of history behind that, but I'm not here to share the history. I'm just here to share the facts. And the fact is, we are provided with a golden opportunity to look after our future generations, and if we settle for money in the short term, we will rob our grandkids, our great grandkids, of something that was taken from our ancestors. None of us were around during that time. There's not one single person alive to this day that was around during that time that shit took place. So we were robbed of an opportunity. Yes, our people could have had banks, we could have had the grocery store, we could have had all of that stuff. But that's neither here or there. Right now we got to think about the future. Oh, Darce, what are you going on about? I made a Facebook post about this, and I had some people push back in my inboxes telling me, well, what's your solution then, huh? What do you think is best for the community? I'll tell you what's best for the community, and what's best for the community is that we need to be brave and have courage looking forward, looking ahead. Because if we settle for money in the short term, no, we're not going to get anywhere. All the problems that we have in Wekoqmaq are still going to be there if we just settle for a payout, 100% payout. I noticed our leadership reached out to the Listagush leadership and asked them how things went. So that'll come out tomorrow at this meeting. Didn't go good for them. Our people in our lands, and not just Wekoqmaq, but outside our community and other communities everywhere, in other countries. Humanity is spiritually, physically, and mentally unwell. And a lot of it has to do with money. So money isn't the problem, or the solution, I should say. The problem is that we're starved of knowledge. We lost our connection with our purpose in life. And our purpose in life is to live in harmony with our land. The government took our land. The white people took our land. Yeah, it's a bummer, I know. And then they want to solve all our problems by giving us a compensation. So yeah, we got to think about this, guys. Like I was saying, our problems will still be here if we just settle for money. Oh, what are you talking about? Go scooter, Darce. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the like I was saying, people are sick. They're sick of what's going on. They're sick of how things are. They're sick of how the government treats us, and how can we stand up for ourselves? Through education, through knowledge, through being calm, through being brave. Yes, it's a scary world out there. Yes, we were wronged, especially during this pandemic, when they forced society on us, when they use fear to manipulate us. They use these tactics for us to divide, to fight amongst each other, Yeah, I was a little off put by some of the comments that people made on Facebook, especially when people are saying, "Oh, chief and council are in debt, so why should we use this opportunity to make all the wrongs, to correct all the wrongs they have done?" People, you elected these council in. They did what they could do to help you out. The debt we are putting in, even though I personally believe they mismanage a lot of our money, they politicize our housing program. They do all of these wrong things um, to look after our people in superficial ways. Ultimately, they did it for us. You know, we wanted this, but really, nobody's talking about the long term implications here. They just want quick money. They want a quick buck. Yeah. I know. I understand. I could use some money, man. I'm barely scraping by personally. I sell pizzas on the side just to get by. I try to provide for my kids. Meanwhile, in this community, people are angry and upset over water. Water is life. How about we use this opportunity with the land claims to maybe provide our people with water? How about that, huh? That I think that's more beneficial in the long term and for everybody. Yeah, sure, you can take your $100,000 and blow it at the LC, the hardware store, put it towards your debt. Oh, we'll be good. 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, 10 years, that money will be gone, and we'll still have problems for our water, our infrastructure. Do you think the government is going to help us out with that? We've been having these issues with water for the last for the last 30 years. Did the government provide us with solutions? Did the chief of council come up with the solution? They mismanage our money to solve this problem. So why not solve it now? It's not going to cost 125 million for us to solve our water issues. It'll take a fraction of that. And we need to think about circumstances, emergency circumstances too, and reinforce our infrastructure to look after our people just in case there's emergencies that take place. I don't know if anybody is following what's going on outside of our little fishbowl, but our world is on the cusp of war. You know what war means? You know what that means? That means an economic collapse. That when World War II happened in Germany, their money was worthless. They had wheelbarrows full of money. They couldn't buy bread with it. If that happens, we could have fucking 200 million, $500 million settlement. It wouldn't mean nothing if it can't. Money only seems like it's important. So we should use this opportunity to educate ourselves. We need more. We need more. Like I was saying, we need to put it into our water, our infrastructure, our backup energy. I personally think we can use. I don't like Nova Scotia Power. I fucking hate them. Fuck, they are corrupt. They own our province, therefore they own us. They control a lot of the stuff. Has a lot to do with the power, the price of electricity has a lot to do with the amount we're paying for fuel. You got to think about that. That's a conversation for another time, but I'm just saying we have an opportunity to maybe rival Nova Scotia Power, or start something up to buffer that, to provide solutions there. Yeah, infrastructure is huge. Electricity, alternative electricity, solar, whatever it could be. Think about that. Water is life. Electricity, that's important. Education is important. And healthcare is even more important. A lot of our people in the world are spiritually and physically and mentally unwell. And I think, money can help us out if we were to put that into funding to help educate our people to become nurses and doctors and lawyers. And we need to put it into our school. We need to expand on our education. I worked at the school briefly. I was a TA, and I think they could use a lot of that money. or some of that money, a small portion of it. I think the school costs $7 million. Think about that. Our school costs $7 million to build. So if we put even a fraction of that 125 million into our school, it would benefit our children and our children's children down the road. I'd like to see more lawyers and doctors and nurses and people like that. I would like to see our clinic expand and grow. I'd like to see the healthcare center. I'd like to see, because personally I believe we start losing our native rights and our heritage when we are born outside of our community. We're born in these white people's places. We're born in the hospitals. We sign off to the province. And we lose our rights. We forfeit them to the province. We forfeit them to the federal government. And then we sign off on them when we die. At the end of it, we get our rights back. Through ceremony, we find closure that way. But throughout our whole lifetime, we are subject to the crown. We are subject to the province. We are subject to the federal government. So I think when our future generations are born, they should be born into our ways, into our community. So literally, I think we should put some of our land claim money into the health center. Imagine if we were able to give birth in Wekoqmaq and do it our own way, the way we see fit, through ceremony, because that would be a game changer. People, I think, from other reserves, our people are the fastest growing population outside the immigrants. And boy, I got lots to say about that, but I'm not going to talk about that right now because I got to stay focused. We could lead by example. We could bring future kids. They could literally be born at our facility. That would create a lot of opportunity at midwives. And that's something that would put us in a direction where we will be self-governed and we'll be sovereign, eh? And that's what we need. We need to use this opportunity to take control of our community, our lives. And it starts by, our future mothers and children being born in our community. And I think really at the end of our lives too, I think we should, because we spend a lot of money, solid days, all of that stuff, all that money. You know where that money goes to? It goes to Dennis Haverstock. It goes outside the reserve to these non-native embalmers. And, we adopted Christianity, the Catholic religion, so that we can sort of find closure when our people die. But I think if we were to have our own funeral homes, I got to use these terminologies in ways you understand. Funeral homes is like a white person word, eh? And I got to learn their language. And that's another thing, too, we could put this money into is regaining our knowledge in our native tongues. Think about that. Akide negmoy now. Mount important with negmoy glodum, man. How much about glodum? That we got to take care of that. See, I can't even finish the sentence. So I'm gonna be. I'm putting this podcast out there just to remind everybody of what important things we're missing out on. Water is life. As I was saying earlier, Papke gets mad when the water gets shut down. Golan's got mad when the water got shut down. I wonder how much it'll cost for us to have a good infrastructure system, another water tower, to fix it all. Imagine that. Housing's an issue. Land is the biggest issue, but land can be bought. We can buy more land. We can develop more land. But before we get to that point, we need to educate ourselves in a manner where we can acquire these lands lawfully, I guess. We need to learn how to develop these lands ourselves. Whether we do it traditionally, nomadic, like the way our ancestors did. Land-based education, land-based learning is huge right now. We're just beginning to scratch the surface on this topic. everybody is starting to realize how important that is. But how significant will it be, or how insignificant would it be if we use up our resources and there's no land to, there's nothing we could do with the land. So we need to learn how to have respect to our land and amongst each other. Huh? There's so much infighting between our people that we gotta we gotta get together on these matters. We need to be brave. We need to have courage. We need to be wise. We can't just be hasty. Like I was saying, this took place more than 150 years ago. So what's another 5 years? What's another 5 months? Oh, what's another 100 years? Think about that. It's a tough way to think. It's a tough way to look at it when there's so much working against us right now. Compensations. What do they call it in the States? Reparations. Blaming victimhood mentality, blaming people. Yeah, we were fucking wronged. People wronged us in the past, and they're wronging us to this day. We don't identify that. But if we don't correct what was wronged amongst each other, then how can we break the cycle? That truth and reconciliation is huge. But I didn't like the idea. I don't like the idea because the governments they tell us, we will work together to strengthen our relationships to help you out for all the wrongs that's been done to you. But we have to do it on our terms, not your terms. Never mind, you guys can't figure it out for yourselves, so we'll figure it out for you, and we'll start by giving you money. Ooh, money, money. Yeah. I think it all starts by forgiveness. We have to forgive each other. A lot of the wrong practices that were done on us, we done to each other too. It's like when the slaves went back to Africa. You know what they did? This is in West Africa. They started enslaving themselves. They went to their local native populations and enslaved them, and then started selling them off, and they adopted the same stuff that they learned out in America. So like that's a metaphor. That's what happened with us. A lot of the abuse that we're enduring now, self abuse, whether it's to ourselves or whatever it's to thy neighbor or to thy sibling. We abuse each other because we learned that from the past. So I think we can use this opportunity with our land claims to help educate ourselves on these matters. All right, I think that's all I got to say. I don't want to bore you guys with this. I got to keep it short. The attention span of our people is getting short, especially with TikTok. Folks, get off the TikTok. We need to start doing long form conversations. And I'm thankful for our leadership for having this meeting. Of course, they're having it 5 months before the election. They want to speed things up. They want to settle this, make the settlement happen before election so they can save themselves. And by the way, council have their own plan. They're putting together packages where they don't want to put the money back to the community. They want to just further give themselves more leverage so they can help the people out for their benefits. So that's what I think anyway. We'll see what happens in tomorrow's meeting, and I want you to share this. Everybody needs to hear this, and I'm sorry if I offended you, but you needed to hear this because money is important. I get that, but we got to think of ways. We got to think outside the box and look at the future generations and provide for them and push back. Fuck Nova Scotia Power, man. Fuck the government, man. I hate them. We can't be playing their games if we want to be on our own. I'm sorry. I don't mean to speak in anger. I'm speaking in passion. Like I'm really putting thought into this. Well, all the oak. Anyway, thank you.